talk about the aging advantage of personal training. Aging well has lots of challenges associated with it, from aches and pains, less social activities, interaction with other people, possibly even like less confidence in yourself and feeling unseen. And this is a little bit left field to think about working with a personal trainer and how that can build your confidence, keep those aches and pains in check, and so much more than that. And so today we want to talk about why having a PT can help you not just actively age, but age well. You ready for this topic, Sel?
I am.
Yeah, me too. And so, off the top of my head, I came up with a few things that a personal trainer would do for you. And that is, they're going to give you a tailored exercise program. That's sort of like a given, right?
Yes.
But they also are going to help you manage those aches and pains so that you feel less at risk, and also eventually, hopefully, notice that you had less aches and pains. And we've got quite a number of stories about that as well too. What you'll also notice is that you have an improved flexibility, range of motion, mobility in your joints. Your balance is better, your stability is better. So your strength gets better, your fitness gets better. So lots of different things go on because you're working with a PT. But also there's those added benefits like motivation, accountability. There's also that feeling like you're getting some type of education on it, aging well as well too. And
And
I
understanding of the exercises you're doing. I think that's one of the biggest issues that
Yeah,
people have when they start exercising. They don't understand what they're doing.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And and of course I forgot to mention the emotional and that mental aspect that comes with any type of exercise program, regardless of whether it's with a PT or in a group session as well too, because that physical activity, that exercise is so, so good for you. So let's start by talking about, these tailored exercise programs. So I'm going to throw it open to you. So when you're designing a PT session, what are you looking at?
The first thing I'm looking at, what are their limitations?
Yeah,
Physically,
yeah,
we deal a lot with women who have knee issues, shoulder issues,
yeah,
wrist issues, reduce range of motion, reduce mobility, reduce flexibility. So the
yes.
first thing I'm asking are those questions.
Mm.
What are your limitations? That way you can start your program off from that point, because
Yeah.
we know what we're working with then.
Yeah, and if we even take it back a step from that, we're doing that first initial consult with them as well too. So we're getting to know them and understand them a little bit more. And I think that's important when you are thinking about hiring a PT. Do you have that relationship with that person? Are you clicking with their personality? Because let's face it, we don't necessarily like everybody. So we want to make sure that the person we're going to work with is someone that we go, okay, I feel comfortable with it, with her, she or him, and they get me, they understand me as well too. I think then the next aspect is that physical assessment that we do as well too. So we're looking at, how they move for all different types of movements, lower body, upper body, core strength, stability, all of those things as well too. So, that is what goes into the first part of developing some type of program. And then when we get into the program, where we're making sure that it takes into consideration those limitations, but we're also then thinking about, where are they improving or where are they going backwards, regressing, they call that. And what do I need to do to help them to improve or to support them through that stage where that regression may be happening for whatever reason that may be as well too.
And it's a great assessment on their mentality. So it will show us too their motivation levels, the want of the PT session, for want of a better word. You know, how committed are they to this program that we've given them? How willing are they to be doing what we're asking them to do?
Yeah, and look, I know that quite a number of my PT clients this week, you know, after we finished the session, I said, is there anything that you specifically want to work on? And most of them said, well, you know about my knee issue, or you know about my shoulder issue, and accommodating those things, but I'd like to be stronger in these areas, which you're already working on with me. So no, I'm going to be guided by you and what you're seeing. And I think there's a lot of trust that comes with that as well too, because and sometimes I think the other aspect of it is that they don't necessarily know what they need as well too. So as a PT, as a coach, you're actually seeing the things before they may notice them.
Yeah, definitely. And we also notice, and we pick up too, if anything's off.
Yes.
So, you know, are they suddenly limping a little bit? Or are they suddenly not going down in a lunge on the left more than they are on the right?
Yes.
So, you know, we can be picking, they are probably completely unaware of those things. But having that PT with you, watching you, they will pick up.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, then there's the mental aspect as well too, because we notice when they're feeling down or low. And, you know, we'll also notice when they start cancelling their PT sessions as well too. It's like, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, what's going on? Is this a physical thing? Is it, you know, life happening, or is it a mental thing that's going on? And how am I going to help get that motivation back for you? How am I going to, you know, therefore support you and keep you and hold you accountable to those goals that you originally established when you started as well?
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
that's another conversation that you have, you know. What can I do as your PT to get you here, to keep you motivated, to keep you going?
Yeah. And of course, then, like this week, Sal, and I know that you've said this about a couple of the clients that have been working with me in PT sessions for quite some time now. And you said, wow, you know, you can see, because you've been off for a little bit, and you can see how much they've improved, but how their movement patterns are like so much better in the group sessions.
Yes.
And their strength and their fitness. And you said, I believe that is because they're doing PT sessions.
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And when you're booking your PT, when you're looking for a PT, you can't just go in with the mindset of, oh, my one session of PT will do me, you know, my exercise for the week, because it does not work like that. You know,
No.
the PT is either your baseline and you're doing your other exercises or other workouts around your PT,
Yes.
or your PT is that additional push that you want to get stronger in what you're doing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And of course, that brings you to another point as well too. So is it a trainer that you're looking for, or is it a coach?
Yeah.
Because there is a difference. Do you want to explain what those differences are between a trainer and a coach?
Well, we've just gone through them. You know, a
Mm,
trainer is there to show you how to do the exercises,
mm-hmm.
how to do them properly. A coach is taking you through everything. They are having that personal connection with you.
Yeah.
And that connection is your body, your mind, and your movement and, connecting on a deeper level than just showing you how to do the exercises.
Yeah.
As we said, we know your mindset. We know when you're not coming to your PTs, and not just because you didn't show up, but because we've had that conversation. Okay, we know why you're not coming why you haven't come for the past 2 weeks. You're struggling with something that we know about in your life or from your past or whatever. So that's the difference between a coach and a trainer.
Yeah. And I think, like, I wrote down these 7 questions that you'd want to ask yourself before you start working with a PT. And that first one I mentioned earlier, which is, why do you want a PT? Like, why do you think it's important to have that person in your life? Then the second thing is, are you looking for a trainer or are you looking for a coach? How much support do you actually want? I think the third thing was, do they have some type of proven track record with working, in our case, women over the age of 50 who are experiencing limitations as far as aging is concerned, or, they want to nip it in the bud before it gets to that stage. And so, you're asking yourself that thing. And a question that I had this morning, and I thought, I haven't had this question from a person in quite some time. And it was wonderful to actually hear it. It was like, what are your actual qualifications?
Ooh.
And I thought, I love that she actually asked me that question, because if you think about it, and just recently there's been stuff on the news about it as well too, there are so many influencers now giving out exercise advice, and healthy lifestyle advice and everything like that. And look, that's great if it's based on personal experience and they're saying, this is what I've done and this is how it's worked for me, as opposed to, here's my years of qualifications and certifications that I have behind me, and this is why I can support you and do these things with you.
And I think don't be afraid to ask that question. Do not be afraid to ask for somebody's qualifications. You wouldn't just
you don't go to a doctor.
No,
you're
not going to Joe Blow down the road who says he's a doctor and he's working out of his back shed.
Yeah, that's
trusting because he's told you he's a doctor, trusting that he's a doctor. But going back to social media, there is so much information out there. And there's so much information that comes from different people. And I'm on Instagram, and I'm on the different social media platforms. And I think a lot of times people just jump on the next bandwagon that is a trend, and it's so important to link with a PT that understands what you're going through. And you're a perfect example of when you started going through menopause. You went to the gym to find a PT, and you had a 22-year-old guy.
No idea.
Would have no idea about menopause.
No.
My son's 24. I'm going through menopause. He just thinks I'm crazy. He's got no concept about it. Even though I tell him, going through menopause, mate, whatever. But I'm just crazy to him. So I think it's very important. That is such an important question. What qualifications do you have? And don't be afraid to ask to see them either.
No, that's a really, really good point as well too. The other one I did mention earlier was, making sure that your personalities click. I mean, that's a given as well too. And the other one was like, are they going to be available when you're available as well? And if it's a physical location, like, where are they? How long is it going to take me to get there? Am I going to be fighting traffic? This is sounding too hard right now. So I need to have someone who's closer to me. And look, I recently had this conversation with a lady who inquired about our programs and everything like that. And she said, I need to have someone who's physically going to work with me. And I said, yeah, okay, because we're all online. And I said, so why do you think that is? And she said, well, I want to create some type of routine. And I said, well, creating a routine has nothing to do with whether you're in a physical space or whether you're in a Zoom room as such. It just happens to be just the format that it's taking, the form that it is. And so from there, we got into a different conversation and everything like that about online workouts. So one of the great things that from our perspective, particularly in a group environment, by the time we address somebody in a client in a group environment, and then we move to, a few more down the track, this person has stopped doing what they're supposed to do, or they've got back into that bad habit again, and we're already on someone else. So whereas when we're actually in this environment online, we can see every single person and what they're doing. And it means that, there's no getting away with it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Because you're seeing it straight away. Everyone's in front of you.
Mm.
And the other aspect too with being online, how much time do you save?
Oh my God, so much.
And if you do have that PT session, and this is going back to that motivation or lack of motivation,
Yeah.
don't want to cope, that sort of thing. Can you imagine driving in traffic or sitting at home and going, okay, well, I've got to go 20 minutes to my PT.
Yeah.
Traffic's going to be awful. Okay, I'm just going to message her, I'm not coming today.
Yeah.
Whereas online, it's just getting up and getting into your PT session.
I saw a great thing the other day on Lenny Kravitz, right? And he was in where was he? Was it the Bahamas or somewhere? Somewhere. And they said to him, where do you do your workouts? And he said, oh, here's where I do my workouts. So, got on his little bike and he rode his bike and he went to this lovely grassed area under some trees and everything like that. And one of the trees had fallen down and it was like this, flat, and then it went up. That's what he uses as his workout bench. And he's got his weights and he's got everything there. And then he said, hang on a minute, I'll just get my PT in. And he dialed him in on his phone. And he'd been working with this guy for, I think it was 20 odd years or something or other.
Wow.
And if you think about it, he travels the world and he's entertaining. And so he takes his health and his well-being really seriously. And he's taking his PT in his pocket with him.
Yes. Yeah.
And I went,
yeah.
I really loved watching it. So
yeah.
And I think we might have this mental barrier that you can't get the same level of coaching down the line as what you can in a physical space.
Mm. And the only difference is we can't touch you.
Yeah, we can't touch you.
That's the only difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And most people don't want to be touched anyway.
No.
So, and then my final point, Sel, was how much does it cost? And I really would say to everybody, think about it as an investment in your health and your fitness and your well-being, as opposed to it's just about the dollars. If I think about Julie this week, she said to me, we had to do some really physical stuff at work the other day. And she said, up until I started working with you and doing the group sessions with the coaches, she said, I would never have been able to lift what I needed to lift. My back would have been aching. And, my life has improved so much just because I am doing these things.
Yeah. And that's what you have to, when you're starting out in your fitness journey, and whether it is in a group session or whether it is with the PT,
Yeah.
you have to mark your milestones that are happening in your day-to-day life.
Oh, totally, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
She's realized that, yes, I wouldn't have been able to do this 6 months ago. Look at me go type thing.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that we do as personal trainers. It's like, okay, I want you to write down what are the things that you're noticing that you can't do? What are the things that are feeling more achy? What are the things that you're avoiding? And just get honest and real with yourself, because they're the things that you're going to notice from working with a coach. And if I think about Diane in 2 weeks, 2 weeks into it, and she went, I got out of bed this morning to do the session, and I thought, what am I doing at 80 years old to do this thing? And then she said, and I realized I actually, for the first time in a very long time, I had actually been able to do up my shoes. So, those little things, they mean so much.
They do. They do. And they don't just mean so much to the clients, they mean so much to us as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
As coaches.
Yeah. Puts an absolute smile on our face when we see the differences. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Is there anything you want to wrap up with today, Sel?
I do want to wrap up with, if you are going to start with a PT, think about why you're doing it, and are you 100% committed?
Yeah.
You don't want to be going in there, I'm going to get a PT session because I'm going to do it, but you're only 50% committed and you're not putting in a full effort. You're there for a reason. So get in there and get it done and work hard.
Yeah. And of course, what's important there is it's your hard. So it's not my hard and it's not your hard. It's, where you are at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I just wanted to wrap up by saying, it's important, I think, when you're starting any type of fitness program, particularly when it comes to strength training, to work at least for a little while with a personal trainer, because if you've got any alignment issues and then you're lifting on top of that, then all you're doing is going to have further issues down the track. So if you don't have anybody watching you, then you are putting yourself at risk. And if you get injured, then you're more than likely going to give it up. And I'm not going to bang on about how important strength training is, because we all know it. We've been told it, many, many times before. Strength training is the key to staying strong, to be able to do everyday life activities. So we all should be doing at least 3 to 4 sessions a week of that. So, and I really think just embracing different ways of doing things. Because
Definitely.
we get so caught up in the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah. And start expanding our horizons and enjoying life. So thanks for joining me today, Sel.
Thank you for having me, as always.
You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us, ladies. We'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.